Hello, and welcome to Beyond Headlines on Freedom Square TV. We are reaching you from our studios in Enugu. This morning, we're being joined by a young man who cut his political wisdom teeth early. And today, he has the onerous responsibility of supervising and superintending the Ministry of Agriculture and Agro-Industrialization in the Enugu State. He's a Paul Harris Fellow and he's Honorable Commissioner. Patrick Mwabes at Ubru.
Thank you.
Commissioner, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Cyril. It's nice being with you this morning. I've been following your program for quite some time now, and delighted to be here by invitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Prior to 2023 general elections, the governorship elections in the Enugu State, Peter, as he then was, now governor of Enugu State, made very robust promises to Enugu. And one of such was total transformation of the agricultural sector. Many never believed it was possible. And when he was sworn in as governor and he assembled his cabinet, he found you worthy to man the agricultural sector. 2 years and about 2 months down the line, people are still wondering what that minister has been able to achieve. For those who are following government activities, it will appear that a lot is being done. For the naysayers, they're not quite sure what has been achieved. So this morning, we'll go through some of the strong points of your ministry. And if possible, some of the low points. So I'm going to ask you, the topic is agricultural revolution in Enugu State. And the first caller or the first message I got this morning was somebody who said agricultural revolution in children or a mockery. How do you address that?
Okay, thank you, Cyril, for that, and for going back, trying to compare pre-2023 election and the promises His Excellency has made, and also relating it to the first caller talking about whether it's a mockery or a joke. I would like the public to know that the person we have in a government house, in the Lion Building, is not a joker. Yes, and we have for the first time in Enugu State a governor that was prepared for government, a governor that took time to study the economy of Enugu State, both social, political, and otherwise. And specifically for agriculture, he has a blueprint for it. Remember, Cyril, that during his manifesto, he specifically pointed out on agriculture that he intends to cause a revolution or cause a transformation in agriculture. That is a total rebirth of what happens within the agri space of Enugu State. So that comes to mind to tell you that there was death of the agricultural sector. Things were not working normal. And he said, how is he going to do this? Because his intention is that people of Enugu produce what they eat and eat what they don't, that they're able to feed themselves, that our local consumption needs is being met. How? Through massive investment in agriculture. You cannot expand productivity without massive investment in agriculture. Without taking agriculture away from subsistency to business, without mechanizing agriculture. You understand? I added too that also there will also be addition of technology in terms of extension services, that is digitalizing the entire ministry, so that even the smallholder farmer could be in his farm and be able to access services. You understand? So there are a lot of projects that have been actioned within this space of 2 years. And that's why you begin to wonder, you understand, how is he doing it? Among those projects are, first and foremost, you cannot expand our production level with the level of land space or the amount of land that our smallholder farmers were cultivating upon, which is about 115,000 hectares across the state. So the governor came up with a strategy, with an initiative of adding 300,000 hectares of land to agricultural space. And today, I will proudly tell you that 187,000 hectares of land have been freely, willingly donated by communities across 17 local government areas. And that comes to also ask you, how in our climb, our doing our culture as Igbo people that holds land so tenaciously that our land don't give out land for businesses or agriculture, why are they giving it to Enugu state government? Because of the trust, and because they have seen that this man is true and not a joke.
So you clearly confirm that he's not a joker.
No.
And that the word revolution as applied to this conversation is also not a mockery.
Fantastic.
Okay, but specifically, you spoke in general terms. We'll have to be too more specific. So my second question is, how specific, what are the specific programs or reforms that have been introduced in the agricultural sector under your leadership?
Okay, fine.
Specifically speaking.
Beautiful. The land bank project, which is, one of the leading initiatives of His Excellence to make land available not only to the small order farmers, but also to the commercial farmers, reason to expand our productivity. And expansion of productivity has ripple effect, comes with other goodies in terms of creation of job, in terms of solution to insecurity, and a whole lot of that. Secondly, the farm estate program, which is a game changer in our agricultural space, is expected that we add clear Dedodo 52,000 hectares across the electoral wards to 200 hectares each in all electoral wards of Enugu State. Is a game changer. Because that farm estate program, we see Enugu State having a concentration of 200 farmers in one place, sharing knowledge together, ensuring also that they, watch over each other. And that 200 hectares across the electoral wards will also be fenced to stop the invasion of the cattle, maybe, let's say that's not what cattle there, but then that is it. You understand? Because often you would hear our farmers complain that the herders, come to their farm, destroy them. But that will be a forgotten thing as the 200 hectares are being developed across each of electoral wards. That's a game changer in our agricultural space. Secondly, we also have the farm mechanization. Like I told you, for the Enugu State to be able to expand their productivity, we have to mechanize our agricultural system. We are aware that the state has also established the tractor assembly plant in partnership with a foreign company, Notran, where we assemble our tractors, both the tractors, the heads, and the implements here in Enugu State. Currently, we have tractors that are already assembled and they are implemented, waiting to be deployed to the farmers in Enugu State.
Okay,
so that is that. No,
before you go further, there's a some point you touched.
Yes.
And this some point has been actually, a lot of people had called me and said, are these claims not bogus? When you say 200 hectares in each ward, the total 60 wards in Enugu State, many have called me and said, even after the talk, they said, let's take Enugu North for example. They said, so where are you going to get the 200 hectares in each of the wards in Enugu North local government? They also made mention of some urban local governments, which then they have looked around and discovered it is not possible to get 200 hectares of land. That perhaps the issue of getting 200 hectares for every electoral ward, they seem to be not true.
Thank you, Cyril. When programs are being launched, there are also peculiarities. For Enugu North, for instance, they have the issue of not being able to get 200 hectares. That is why the governor has also introduced the greenhouse technology. Now, what they are doing, instead of the 200 hectares, they are now developing greenhouse to be able to meet up their production need. North, that one greenhouse is equivalent to 5 plots of land. And you see how greenhouse technology, greenhouse farming could help Enugu North and the likes of Enugu North who do not have that land space.
You explained a very strong point.
Thank you.
In all this talk about 200 hectares in an electoral ward, because
there are peculiarities.
You need to have on this because a lot of people are still skeptical about 200.
No, Enugu North already have also started the development of their greenhouses. You understand? And you can also look around Enugu North, you see some parcel of lands close to waterway where cultivation is done on a yearly basis. That's all year round cultivation done there. You understand? And we are helping the farmers to develop their knowledge about what they are doing. So it's a total revolution. Like I told you earlier, it's a total revolution.
Okay.
A total rebirth of what is going to happen in the state.
Okay. Our rural communities, how are they being integrated into this revolution?
Yes, they are, because in the Ministry of Agriculture we have a program, we have processes, we interact with the communities. For instance, on Friday, we'll be visiting the Nkerefi community for community engagement. And as we engage them, we speak about it, we encourage them, we tell them the benefits of having these farm estates established in their locality. We also tell them the benefit of also of donating extra land for commercial agriculture, for special projects. You understand? For instance, we are setting up the organic fertilizer plant and cassava processing plant in Nkerefi. This is a Commonwealth initiative in collaboration with the Chinese company Tandan Nigeria Limited. The SPV has been set up. So, and the likes of them. Very serious. I must take you back to what happened in Nkemungbo. Before the establishment of the Enugu State Produce City, Nkemungbo was a dreaded zone. It's a place where we have this, the incidents of kidnap.
That's why you have one Igwe Naman.
Exactly. Igwe Naman is a collaborator.
Yes.
So, and today, as I speak to you, we have developed Nkemungbo. The government has provided security. The Nkemungbo people now can now sleep with their door eyes closed. We have is in one single place we have the largest plantation of cassava. About 250 hectares of land cultivated cassava alone. That's we're talking about 11,200 something metric tons of cassava that we harvested there. In one single place. And that was what brought quietness to Nkemungbo. There are people have been employed. There is traffic there. People, vehicles go there, come out. They have the presence of the military there. And that solves the problem. Using agriculture to solve multiple problems. Making our rural communities, you understand, very violent. So it's a revolution.
Yes, you speak to the use of food security to fight insecurity.
Yeah.
And that is one silent revolution for those who are following government activities that seem to be happening. The use of food security to fight insecurity.
Yes.
Beyond Nkemungbo, what other areas have these been replicated?
Definitely. Like I said, it's something where we have just started. We have also signed the MOU with other companies who are also developing the land. Where we mentioned Nkemungbo is where you go, you touch cassava, you uproot cassava, you touch it. We planted corn there, we harvested corn there. You understand? We have also developed a processing plant in the Kem community where gari is being processed and starch is being processed. Now, back to the farm estate. If you go to above, 200 hectares have been completely developed and fenced. That is also a strategy of using food security to fight insecurity. Because what will be coming out from above? If you go to Omabi, farm estate development is ongoing in Omabi. If you go to Enugu North, Enugu North local government, plus Igwezi North local government, want to say, farm estate is being developed there. Yes. If you go to Nkano West, farm estate development is ongoing there. Land is being prepared there. If you also come back to Owo, where we also have our rice mills in established. We are developing 30 hectares now for specifically for rice farmers. If you go to Zone, the other rice you already know. Yeah. The other rice has been activated, up and running, functioning. And that's why we can see in recent time that the price of rice is nosediving. Yeah, I can give you several examples. Now, a good example is the MOU signed with Frontier Nigeria Limited to develop the Ubru in Uzuwan and the Nibo Axis. That will stop incursion of the aliens or whatever the negative headers. Let me use the word negative headers, because the headers, if they are peaceful and obey the rules and the regulations within the sovereignty of any state, that's it. But if you are coming with the violence, you are coming with the students, it become a dangerous area.
You just mentioned in person, and that brings me to my next question. The issue of you say you check the price, the cost of the price of rice is coming down, and so I've been asking you specifically, beyond that, what's been done generally in the past 2 years to reduce food prices in the state?
Obviously, the only way you can reduce food cost of food prices, produce more food.
What will also rise? This is the new
you understand? Produce more food. In last year, to be specific, the government gave out some inputs free of charge to our farmers to encourage our farmers to do more. We gave out free fertilizers, we gave out free improved seeds. Because for you to have one more year, it's come with improved seeds. We're not talking about the seeds that will not give the farmers the desired yield. You get my point. We distributed a lot of cassava cuttings, improved cassava species 419, that gives you a greater tonnage during harvest. And that's why we can beat our chest and tell you that as we speak today, we have over 36,000 metric tons of cassava ready to be sold. And that also has forced the price of, that's what the government has cultivated. I'm not talking about what our smallholder farmers who are in greater in number have done. Because every part of Enugu state now you see this improved species of cassava being grown. And for your local government has also keyed in, because we have assigned 100 hectares to the local government chairman, who is also has cultivated cassava on 100 hectares. If all the local government cultivate 100 hectares like he is doing, what will happen to the price of food? It will crash.
This is about the people design.
Yeah.
It's always a lot easier to speak in general terms. In one word or that, there's not been any survey that is empirical, which speaks to this actual reduction in prices. So they are just thinking that if you have more in the market, if you have more produce in the market, then the price will go down. But like this specific proven data indicates that one, the price of tomato is down, the price of okra is down, the price of this is down. Are you are you hopeful?
Yes, I'm not being hopeful, because we go to the market every day, and you also go to the market every day. You know how much rice is sold as at January, as at December last year, to compare to how much rice is being sold as at today. You know how much Gary was sold as last year, even before His Excellency took over the leadership of Enugu State, and how much Gary is being sold now. We know how much cassava is being sold before last week. To be specific, cassava was sold for 130,000 per metric ton. But today, because of the production, the increase in production of cassava is sold for less than 60,000 per metric ton today. That's it. But what you are asking, if we have compiled it, is in the pipeline. That's what our PRS is doing now in the pipeline. But the general view, as in when you go to the market and see what the price of goods are today, you know that yes, what we, the His Excellency, have done in the agri space today has forced the price down. Note also that what also increases the price of agricultural product is not just in terms of the availability of product. There are also other cost elements like transportation, like bad road, like look around the Enugu state and see what the services is. It's a holistic approach to development. The roads to our rural communities are being paved. The road leading from Nigerian railways down to Umulopa, those one is being paved. And some other roads, the roads from Owo Junction down that leading to Udenu is also being paved. These roads leads to our agricultural production centers. And that will also force the price of commodities down. This is common economics. This is common economics theory.
Okay. You mentioned the Chinese firm. That speaks to there's some kind of partnership.
Yes.
Are there other strategic partnerships?
There are so many.
International, private, or
beautiful, both international and local.
Research institutes.
Both international and local. Let me begin to mention them. In our palm oil production, in the bid to rehabilitate the Enugu State Palm Produce Limited, the governor signed an MOU, a partnership with Pragmatic Power. If you go to Bitolo now, you see Pragmatic Palm replacing the aged palm trees. We have those palm trees that are as old as 50 years and above. They are replacing them. That's the partnership. The intention, the projection is to ensure that at least 1 million trees are being planted. 1 million palm trees. That's the revolution we're talking about. The same we have done in cashew. We have now a partnership with National Cashew Association to build and export domestic warehouse, an aggregation center and a processing center at the Polytechnic in Iwolo there. That's the partnership. That will lead to the rehabilitation of Akamoye cashew plantation and Ahaneachi cashew plantation. In Akamoye, we'll have in excess of 470 hectares. So you can imagine, that is just government-owned plantation. We're not talking about other cashew plantation that are scattered across Enugu State. And the north too is on record. Enugu State was the first state that started production of cashew. So we're going back to take back that glory. The National Cashew Association is open. We are also partnering with them to ensure that we give out cashew nut seedlings to our farmers. In the process of ensuring also that the plants we are about to establish with them continuously have produce to process their cashew. And the intention is for export. So we have partnered with so many people. Again, to be honest with you, we have partnership with bioresources. In our cassava to bioethanol value chain development, a processing plant and a bioethanol processing plant is being, constructed at Egede, between Egede and Nara. The plant is coming out. You understand? There are other partnerships. I mentioned about the tandem,
Yes.
the organic fertilizer. Yeah, you understand? Again, the rehabilitation of the Enugu State sunrise flower mill is just another.
Okay.
That have been signed.
Okay.
And all these I'm mentioning are verifiable. They are verifiable.
God verify.
You can touch it. You remember when you came, I said, touch these tractors, that they are not AI.
We did. Okay. Beyond or apart from the tractor, are there other technology-based innovations currently used? Are you using drones? Are you using precision agri tools or mobile extensions?
Obviously, we use drones when we go out to look at a possible place where we will establish Ubru city, the farm estate. We use drones. We introduce our young, mostly, you talked about the youth and coming on the youth.
Yes.
We introduce them to appreciate technology, how easy it is to engage in agriculture with the use of technology. We have drones.
Yeah.
You understand? We have drones that we use around to check the area, to map the particular place, particular farmland that we intend to go in. To also see the water, bodies where we have rivers or we have perennial waters that we can also, talk to our partners that the potential there are huge.
Okay. Let's get back to the participation.
And again, we talk about technology.
Yes.
The greenhouse, it's the technology we're talking about.
Yeah, technology driven.
It's technology driven.
Okay. the issue of youth participation, post-harvest losses, and land access. What are you doing about?
Obviously, if you begin to look at what we have discussed so far, we have discussed access to land, both for our private farmers, commercial private farmers, both for smallholder farmers, which the farming state has only, solved. So our smallholder farmers will no longer complain that they do not have land to do their agriculture, because each farmer has the opportunity of having 1 hectare. And 1 hectare of land has gone beyond subsistency. You understand? Two, access to post-harvest losses. One, the state, through the marketing board, will be signing off-take agreement with the farmers to off-take that product. And again, in the farming state, we're also going to establish some little processing plants so that the farmers can, for instance, let's give an instance, cassava, for instance. If you harvest cassava now, within 24 hours, it is not processed, it begins to lose value. So in the farmer states, there will be little processing plants that when the farmer harvests the cassava, they first of all process it, you understand, to avert losing the cassava. You get my point. Again, we're also establishing coal box facilities, powered with solar, green, in most of our major farm.
And these proposals are there.
They're not proposals. If you go to Agobi, you will see the co-boss facility, because what we do is that before we come and tell you we are doing this, we first of all test run it and see that these things are possible. These things are also affordable. You get my point. On the greenhouse technology, you come to Agobi, we establish a workshop where we fabricate the greenhouse and bring that the metal aspect of it. Here in Agobi, we don't import that from abroad. You get my point. These are things that you see with your eye. Not, when you talk about are they proposal? No, seriously, I said, come and see. Go and see what the excellency has done. You understand? And it's gaining traction. People like you are keen into the greenhouse technology. People like you are keen into the cassava farming. Let me tell you, Syrian. Yesterday, 2 prominent people visited me. They are looking for space where they will cultivate. One want to do palm, the other want to do cassava. This is what is essential. It is not easy for a government to have this confidence and the
Okay, we'll take a short break. Now, when we come back, we'll be looking at the issue of food security and employment so far.
Thank you.
Yes, in numbers, I want to see to what extent these past 2 years that you're able to generate some tangible employment opportunities for you.
Okay.
Well, we're back shortly. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. My guest is here, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture and Agro-Industrialization in Enugu State. Thank you, sir. Well, before we went on break, we talked about the issue of post-harvest losses and then youth participation and land access, which you explained quite well. The next challenge we have is employment, not only in Enugu State but in Nigeria. Many are convinced that a lot of our graduates are unemployed. And people can't believe it. One of the best ways to engage our youth is through agriculture. That brings me to the question of, in the past 2 years, how far has this lateral project been so enunciated and explained? How have they been able to contribute to food security and, most importantly, employment?
Okay, thank you, Cyril. I want to start that by 2023, when we came on board, the excellency was particular about the youth and getting involved in agriculture. And in getting the youth involved in agriculture is demand one, making agriculture attractive. That's one. And in doing that, also allowing the youth to participate in numerous trainings that we had organized. And in 2023 to early part of 2024, we're able to train in excess of 900 youths on integrated agriculture. We sent them to Sokai, place for training. They spent 3 months there. Most of these youths were also, provided with startup kits. And I tell you, after our post training assessments, over 95% of them have started their own farm. And the idea also is that it's expected that one youth who have started his own farm is expected to employ like 2 other people to work with him or her. For instance, if it is a big farm, he would get more than 5 people to work for him. So it's a ripple effect. You find out that jobs are being created. But to be specific, going back to what happened in Ikemungo, we have 200 youths being employed in Ikemungo. Those who are security men, those who work in the farm, those who operate the machines, because it's in Ikemungo that will solve the mechanization of agriculture take place. You may have also seen me plant cassava there. You understand? Then also come into the greenhouse project. You see, each greenhouse is expected to employ 5 people. And our projection in Enugu is to have 2,000 greenhouses before 2026. So you can imagine if you do the economic, the mathematics, you can imagine the employment.
That's barely 5 months from now.
That's barely 5 months. But you will see it happen because people are keying into it. Then if you come to the farm estate project, the farm estate project is expected to provide, in essence, direct jobs, 52,000 direct jobs. We're talking about 52,000 farmers being allocated a hectare each.
I like this year work, but I want you to kind of, it's expected. It's like a projection. I'm saying in 2 years. Do you know the number?
Beautiful. I have just mentioned, okay, I understand what I have mentioned that. Yes. Then if you now, let me also go on. Following our IFAD project, we have given employment to 3,000 people in IFAD. The attached project, we provided, we gave 4,900 farmers support to produce rice across the state. You understand? That's just to mention the few ones. Now, in terms of training, these are the ones we can pinch when we go to their farm and say we can tell you this person is working, this person is unemployed, this and unemployed that. And besides, our training has gone beyond 10,000 farmers. Because most of our donor agencies are also, training farmers on specific value chains as agreed with donor agencies, and Enugu State provided their counterpart funding to ensure that this happens. You understand? So we can, on our record, aggregate that the job we have created is in excess of 15,000 as a date. These things are verified.
What's your prediction before the end of the year?
Yes, before the end of the year, we expect that it increases up to 30,000 because more people, especially the youth. Like I told you, we established the Enugu State Young Farmers Association that are thriving, going everywhere, also supporting the ministry to also educate our farmers on the best agronomic practices. Few months back, that was in April, we were at the prison correction center training the prisoners on the next line to follow after the agriculture. So the projection is using the farm estate model that we are going to have in excess of 200,000 people gain employment, both direct and indirect employment, through the farm estate model. The whole lot is happening in agriculture.
Is there any specific? I recall that sometime when I was part of government, there was this talk about establishing some factories, like juice factories. I come from a pineapple producing area. It normally has the best.
Okay.
Yes. That was why they brought is it Sankaros?
Yes.
Yes, you know that my company was to change for that Sankaros in which was eventually settled. And maybe taking it away from that place the way it is, that's why it's struggling. Now, but the idea then was to set up a juice factory, maybe pineapple juice factory.
Mm.
Are you taking in that direction? Because
Yes.
where you have comparative advantage.
The state government is establishing a special agro processing zone where all these factories will be established. The special agro processing zone is coming to take care of all this, turning our agricultural produce to, adding value to agricultural produce. Both the fruits can turn to juice. You get my point. So the special agro processing zone is coming to take care of. This is your question.
Now, you talk so much about success.
Yeah.
And I won't call them failures. I'll call them challenges. In 2 years, he must have realized that X, Y, Z was a kind of challenge, the realization of the set goal of your ministry. Mm-hmm. So if you're asked to measure one or two challenges you've encountered, what would they be?
Well, the challenge we encounter, which also is one of the biggest challenge working against agricultural productivity, is identifying who those farmers are. Allow the real farmers to gain access to the inputs or to the facilities which government has made available for them. The government will always hammer. How are we sure that these inputs will get to the real farmers? In our distribution of farm inputs last year, through the governor's directives, you see, we saw farmers carrying their fertilizer on their head. We saw farmers carrying their inputs. We can't come and say, Cyril, okay, we know, yes, you're a stakeholder in your community. Come and take fertilizer and go and share it. No, you are not a farmer, Cyril. Do you understand? If you're a farmer, you are not that kind of farmer that will give that input to go and give to the farmer. So the first thing we did was to solve that problem of identification of who real farmers is and began the registration of farmers through the directives from His Excellency. And today we can tell you that we know where 67,000 farmers do their agriculture. We have their geocoordinates, we have their entire details on our database. And the more are registered. The same also with the cooperatives. We have registered in excess of 80 cooperatives, and the more are registered. That is how you solve that issue, because it's a big challenge. Because over the years, government give out farm inputs, give out incentives to farmers, but at the end of the day, the output cannot be traced. The output cannot be guaranteed. And that is why you see when we couldn't tell you that the price of agricultural produce is coming down. Because we let out the inputs to the real farmers. The real farmers are now engaged in agricultural production. So that is it. Another was mechanization. It was difficult to convince our farmers that the government is providing tractors for them. But they have seen it and they believe. Because they always tell you, that is how it's normally said, government after government. But this is a different government serial. This is a different government. We have tractors in various locations in Enugu working for our farmers, heavy duty tractors. It has never happened before.
Okay, I like these success stories.
All I tell you are very fair.
I like these success stories. They sound too good to be true.
So another challenge, which also we were able to combat, was, like I said, the community willingly giving out their land, either for farming state, or for Enugu State Polo City. You understand? You can also see, yes, everybody, may not, absorb or accept government policy in the first instance. But with continuous engagement, continuous explanation, letting them know the benefits, you understand, that is, waiting for them, and how it's going to, open up our rural communities. They are getting convinced now.
That it is possible.
Then it's a common challenge is the issue of insecurity, which the governor is tackling head on.
Okay, smallholder farms. You talk about support programs.
Yes.
How can these smallholder farmers access this support program? You mentioned a lot of them.
It's easy to access because once you are known, we just pull your details from our platform. You don't need to know the commissioner, you don't need to know governor to be called to come and take government support. That's exactly what is happening. See, last week, we have training for farmers on mushroom farming. The participants don't need to know you to participate. You needed to know, you just register as a farmer.
Okay.
In the value chain which you desire to play, and you will be invited. You can go around and ask farmers if they have free access to government intervention. That is true. And the plan intervention, governor himself, you understand, is bent on ensuring that he sees the smallholder farmers take this input themselves. The same thing with the wife of the governor. 2 months, I mean, a month back, he distributed farm inputs to farmers and some processing assets. She was there from beginning till into the night. And I was saying, High Excellency, you need to leave. He said, no, you want to see these farmers, take them. They know that the moment they take off there, and the politicians, I'm also a politician.
No, because
the non-farmers, let me use the word, the non-farmers, we want to scatter the arrangement to, cut away with those things.
I was coming to that whole point. That when you say you call farmers together, that essentially you just call party supporters to come together.
No, we don't.
You brand party supporters as farmers.
No, party supporters that are farmers, that are genuine farmers, we also get what genuine farmers get.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? But if you're a party supporter and you're not a farmer, because there are party supporters that are funny, they're not farmers. You understand? They just want to get in.
Yeah, but they claim to be farmers.
They claim, but then we're able to now sieve them a way out, speak to them, we manage them. We manage them to understand.
Yes, is there a data bank where you can say, oh, the president of the party, we have, by dealing with 2,000 farmers, 3,000 farmers, 4,000 farmers registered in
Sir, you need to see the ministry.
No, I'm asking you, I don't need to do that. I'm asking you again.
The answer is a yes. But to back up that yes, I want you to come to the ministry so that you put the...
So can you put the number to the...
I said we have 67,000 registered farmers across the value chain. And more are registered. We have 80 cooperatives registered. 90 cooperatives registered already. And more are registered.
Thank you. You just took the words out of my mouth.
Yes.
I was going to... Because all this you said before, I didn't hear about cooperatives.
Yes.
I'm now
hearing cooperatives. Yes. We have 80 cooperatives, 90 cooperatives already registered. And at the instance of the governor, because governor had to call say, we want this cooperative registered. I was telling him, sir, you Excellency, they are registering. You said, no, I need the cooperatives. And immediately, the cooperatives are coming registering, and we are seeing what they are doing. And it is also better to get these people in cooperative. And what I need to add too, in the farm estates, most of the farmers, or if all the farmers, will also be grouped in cooperatives so that we can give them the opportunity to access agricultural farming away from what the ministry government is doing. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Good.
Well, you see, I get part of this Nigerian system, and I know there's something that they always lacking. Monitoring and evaluation.
Beautiful.
You see, you read arms figures, 16,000, 19,000, and more. Hey, Rob Culture, how are these people monitored? How do you evaluate what they are doing? Or just they come to Enugu, speak with you, and they go back, and there's no way you can find out exactly what they've done with all the support you've given to them. Otherwise, you will think you are doing so much while those things are going somewhere that is not bringing out any yield. So, totally monitor and evaluation.
Yes, we have.
You have
what they call the commodity interest groups. Mm-hmm. For instance, those who are into rice farming has a group that they all belong to. If you come to Adani, let me use Adani for instance, we have the Ada Rice Farmers Association. And when we give out input, we go through the leadership of other rice farmers association to ensure that, yes, the farmers that were dealing are actually real farmers. The same thing at Neng.
Well, those isolated cases.
Yes, I'm just giving those isolated cases, but those isolated cases are where we have the farmers in their numbers. And those are where we also have the farmers being registered with the Enugu state government. And only when you are registered with the government, that is when you get the input. You get my point? Then we also have, like I said, our donor agencies that also monitor specific farmers that they also intervene on to also see their output during harvest. I will show you something when we leave here, the largest cassava that was achieved by one of our farmers. That's how we monitor what they do.
I'm still not satisfied. You know why? I'm looking at a situation where you have in the ministry a department that monitors, independent of what the people are telling you. You see, you talk about that guy. They could conspire among themselves. So I'll give you an example, and I'm not digressing. For too long, the smart schools have been built. Of late, it's discovered that in spite of the visitations by the secretary to the government, that there were some people that were doing very shoddy jobs. Just last week, government had to bring down one or two of such bad structures. That speaks to monitoring and evaluation.
Yeah.
So it is a very important aspect. Well, areas of improvement.
I agree with you.
Areas of improvement.
We have a department, the PRS department,
Okay,
who's charged with the responsibility of monitoring
how effective is it?
Well, I may not tell you that they're 100% effective,
Yes.
but it's still work in progress.
Okay.
You understand? Because just recently, we are trying to develop using technology to see how we can, make these things easier for us in terms of monitoring what will give them, how they able to apply it, what is the output, you understand? What is the level of production, you understand? In tons that we were able to achieve when we aggregate the individual, production capacity and put private and individual, then we're able to now say, yes, in this particular year, we're able to, meet XYZ tons of rice, XYZ tons of cassava. So those are work in progress in the ministry. Like I said, when His Excellency came as governor, most of these ministries, especially the Ministry of Agriculture, was, nothing to write home about. But today, the story is different. You understand? And some of these things are coming to take, take responsibility of what they are supposed to do.
I share in your enthusiasm and I share in your achievement. I'm not to say that in Enugu, but there's an issue I want to raise. And that's the issue about things that could improve.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It would appear like each time I want to talk to these farmers, they come to the ministry, they come to Enugu. And you have 3 senatorial zones. In 2 years, I've been able to run town hall meetings with specific farmers in their senatorial zone. But there are people who ordinarily may want to come here, but they cannot come to Enugu. But if it's not been done, is that you are planning to do in future?
Yeah, seriously.
To have this compensation?
Seriously, it has been done through our NNL program. We visit the entire local government and get these farmers together. Okay. All we have to do is, I'm just the commissioner. We have other agencies around us that gather farmers together, speak to farmers together, give them the best agronomic practices together, and also effect the monitoring we're talking about. You understand? The NNL last year visited the entire local government and we spoke to farmers. You understand? And that was even how we were able to even get the details of some of these farmers and get their geo coordinates. So we have a department, NNF, the Enugu State Agricultural Development Program, headed by Professor Wonayoish, who is doing fantastic work, ensuring that, that we're in touch with the farmers. I know NNF is our station app, and that is their job. So these things have been done. You can verify from local governments. You have a local, you can call the local government chairman and ask if the Minister of Agriculture is interacting with them and interacting with their farmers. Ask them. We do pre-season and post-season interaction with farmers.
Okay, one critical question I want you to attempt and answer is, you look back just this past 2 years and you said, we did this, we could have done it differently. Is there something you now look back to and said, oh, when we started this project, we didn't actually thought about this, and then now with hindsight, we could have done it differently?
Well, I may not be so exact to this question because His Excellency planned his administration, and every initiative he's bringing out is just, one at a time that leads to the next.
Okay.
You get my point. So this your question will be appreciated maybe when we have finished the program that he has in stock, and we say, we didn't do this. Because everything is timely. Agriculture has to do with time. A time to plant, a time to weed, time to apply fertilizer, time to harvest, and time to go back again and, So I think this question should hold, put on hold and allow His Excellency, to action his program.
Just you get my point. Just targeted the question. He just targeted.
You understand? Because I don't think. Let us be sincere. Yeah. Let us be sincere.
We have pencil and you have an eraser.
Yes.
We have an eraser.
Yes.
When we think,
let's be sincere.
Yes.
When we came up with the review of policy, you couldn't review it completely because there are a lot of things that we need to change. And changing these things and things that you need to, first of all, let it out there and see that it's working, you go back and put it. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes.
Yes. Because we are supposed to have seen this is a policy, but the policy we're following the existing policy. Then bringing into bear the initiatives of His Excellency to improve agriculture. You understand? Take, for instance, if he had not introduced the cocoa development initiative in Enugu, I would have said, we would have been able to, would have come back to introduce cocoa. Enugu State has what it takes, the comparative advantage of producing cocoa. Because our soil and our climate supports the production of cocoa. As I speak to you, we are raising 200,000 seedlings of cocoa that will be planted and also be given out to our farmers. You understand? So if we have not done that, we will not say, yes, we wouldn't have. If we've not started raising the nurseries, I will not tell you, yes, this is what we would have done within 2 years. So that we'll start transplanting now. What about the palm? If you go around and you see everybody going with palm seedlings, it is the advocacy for
our time is actually running. But I'm going to ask you about something that I ask a lot of government people, and sometimes some of them find it difficult to answer. They want to call back DAD. DAD is decide, act, and defend. And that speaks to the sort of thing government will do when they're elected. They decide for the people, they act on their decision, and they come to defend their decisions. Okay? That speaks to the fact of consulting the people before certain things are done. In all these programs, you didn't have a pre-action or a pre-decision meeting with major stakeholders to know the particular things that actually, that's what Sullivan did when he was going, what they call regional communities. Okay? Now, you go to a place, you want to give them water, they say, it's not water they want, this is what they want. Or both governments assume that once they take a decision, it is for the overall, we decide for the people. So, we are then scared of decision. And if it was not done, are you not thinking that it's possible that in future things are going to do?
I'm happy in your question, you also brought into bear what Sullivan did as in visit all communities. Yes. Government is a continuum. Visit all communities has set out the need assessment issue, has strike down the need assessment issue. I have a copy of that document, and I read through that document. Yeah. You understand? To ascertain what the people need, community by community. And this government won't just come and sweep away that specific community. You understand? The government had, like I said, this governor is prepared. Has read those documents. He has taken the vital ones that are needed, you understand, to apply for our people. And again, there is no project we do without consultation. We consult with stakeholders. Give, for instance, last month, we were talking about the ramp projects. For us to complete ramp project, we had a stakeholder meeting twice.
Okay.
So we don't just dabble into communities to say, communities, the stakeholders of those communities come and tell us, this is what they want. This is how they want it. Government will not communicate, this is our idea. Then we'll now reach a compromise that this is what we're going to do. So this government is government of the people. We don't just take arbitrary decisions. You understand? You know who our governor is? Is people oriented. You think about what is beneficial to the people. For instance, it was because we were talking about that the people, the farmers do not have access to land. That is what led to the farm estate. It is providing access to land for our smallholder farmers. It was also because the people were clamoring that the herders are destroying their crop. That is what led to the establishment that is into the establishment of the farm estates. Is that we're not doing it without the people?
Well, I think that's a
I've answered your
yes, that's a good point to leave it. But before then, can you address farmers of Enugu State?
Yes.
Can you just talk to them, speak to them?
Yes, my dear farmers of Enugu State. One is that I want to appreciate those who have seen it necessary to identify with the ministry register so that the government can plan for you. You understand? Because without knowing what you do, who you are, where you are, you may not have effective planning or executing the plan that we have. That's one. Two is that they should continue to support the government of Peter December, who is thinking right for them. There's an article I wrote to be published for the youth. Whether you are going to support a government that is providing for you infrastructure or opportunity to agriculture, opportunity to information technology, or government who will be, giving you bread to eat today, or government who will be teaching you how to bake your bread. Because this government is teaching the people how to bake their own bread. So I'm telling our farmers, continue to support this government that is teaching you how to produce what you want to eat, the way you want to eat it. You understand? And eat what you are producing. And doesn't make money from what you are producing. Because obviously with 1 hectare, like I said, is over and above enough for you to produce for your own family alone and have excess to sell to the people. And I also tell them, take advantage of all the opportunities that government is making available. Now, this is the time we have a government that is agriculture, that spend money for agriculture, that monitors by himself what is being implemented in agri-space. You didn't talk about livestock. Enugu State is going to have one of the biggest robust state of land. That will call for that conversation. You understand? So I said, continue to support this government. Support the government and let's support His Excellency to reach the $30 billion dollar mark target set for our state and blow up our economy.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, thank you very much. This is quite an appropriate point.
Thank you.
To lead this conversation. From what you just said, my conclusion is agriculture is not just about planting crops.
Yes.
It's about cultivating possibilities.
Yes.
So thank you for your time, the service, and for the leadership you brought to bear in our ministry. And that is it for today's edition of the Beyond the Headlines. For those who have been watching, be part of this program, thank you very much. But remember, this conversation does not end here. Let's keep the dialogue online at Freedom Fear TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Facebook for more impactful programming. Stay tuned, stay informed, stay involved, and of course, stay beyond the headlines. Thank you.